The way I would trade would be very goal centered, but I think just trying to have like little sub goals. Okay, I need to reach 8K by this day, reach 9K by this day, kind of really was hard on me. So, just go with the flow, slow and steady. Don't really have to hit those home runs. As long as you're pretty much having green days, you'll eventually get there. And the amount of days you kind of give us is a lot to be able to pass the account. So try not to think about that. Just think about more on like your trade.
Welcome everybody to another Funded Trader of Tradepool. Today I got a special guest with me, Sabrina. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Perfect. Thanks for coming to this interview. And this is special because Sabrina passed the Swing program, and we launched it roughly 6 months ago. We give the traders an opportunity to swing on a funded account, and you're one of the lucky ones that made it. And you already have a nice profit also on your funded account.
Yes.
So let's talk about that first, and then dive into your trading. How you like the program, the evaluation and the funded phase in Tradepool?
Yeah, I really like it actually. At first, I was reluctant to go from live to a prop firm because, there's a lot of reputation around prop firms, and I decided to give it a try. And it was really nice because, so in the US, they have the PDT rule, right? You can't trade unlimited amount of times if you don't have 25K in your account. And I just couldn't pass that 25K. Like I just couldn't get above that. And it was hard because psychologically, when you're trading, you have to think about, okay, I only get one trade, this one shot. Sometimes, you could be losing and you're like, okay, do I get out? Do I stay in it? Like if I'm out, that's it for the day. Like you don't get any more trades. So at one point during my live account, I just kept going backwards and backwards, was on a losing streak. And my mentor actually, he suggested your platform, and I decided to give it a shot. And it's really nice because there's no PDT rule. I'm primarily a short seller, so I have to, borrow shares and with that locate them. And there's a lot of fees with it. And you have to think about, okay, with my one trade, with my locate fees, like I have to think about, okay, it's draining my account as far as the fees.
Yeah.
But with your platform, it's been easy because I don't have to think about that. I could just get into a trade.
Exactly. Yeah, that's amazing. I see many traders in the state that saying the exact same thing because the PDT rule, it's kind of hard one to handle. And once you trade with us, no PDT rule, you can easily trade as many shares or many times that you want every day. And so let's talk a little bit about your trading. What got you in the first place, to go into trading? As you know, that sound not that good, but most traders are actually males, right?
Yeah.
The
primarily dominated by males. Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting to hear about that. What got you into trading?
Yeah, definitely. So in around 2021, I read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And it just advocated a lot about the importance of financial literacy and financial independence and just investing in assets and real estate and just overall trying to increase one's financial intelligence. And it kind of gave me a different perspective on life and, my income in general. And I just wanted that financial freedom that it talked about in the book. And during that time, I had a friend who's now my mentor. His name's Miguel. He actually is trading, and I was just so impressed by his journey. And so I reached out, and I was very fortunate enough that he shared his knowledge with me. And so, yeah, that's how I started. I read a book in 360.
It's funny because that's the same story that I have. I've also read Rich Dad Poor Dad book, and that was the thing that got me into trading as well. So yeah, that's great. The knowledge, just the knowledge that we share and move the world like that. So
Yes.
alrighty, so I'm gonna share my screen and show you a dashboard. Basically, for those of you not familiar, each trader gets his own dashboard, and you can track your stats and the progress on the program. And you basically pass the swing account. You reach the target. Now, like I said, you already have your funded account with more than $10,000 in profit. So I'm gonna share that.
No problem.
Let's talk a little bit about your trading here and what got you into that position. Also interesting to hear is, do you feel like there is any difference between the evaluation phase and the funded phase? Any on the psychological level, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. Well, during the evaluation phase, I remember being in drawdown. I think I lost my first evaluation account. And, when you have your max drawdown, it was 3,900, I believe.
Yeah.
I remember starting to go backwards and backwards. And it was different because during your live account, you don't go backwards, right? You can really only stay pretty much max out at 0.
Yep.
And trying to pass evaluation, having to go backwards, it was kind of hard. Okay, how do I get myself out of negative and then be positive, reach a target? So it was a little hard in the beginning, but thankfully the market gave me some opportunities that for my next evaluation allowed me to pass.
Got it. All right. So that's the dashboard basically, and so you basically traded the extra buying power. That's 24K of buying power, and you can hold overnight position. You got 100 days to pass the evaluation on the swing program, and that should be more than enough. And going over some of the trades, you made a few, and like you said, you're primarily short seller, right?
Mhm.
It's like a mix. You're doing penny stocks, but you're also doing the large cap or mid cap, RD&T, $80, $90, ALAB. Tell me a little bit about that. How do you select your trade? How do you scan it?
Yeah, so primarily penny stocks is what I trade. There'll be a few times where I guess my scanner will pop up those mid cap stocks, but I try during the live account, I actually would stay away from those because of course with your own capital, you don't have that enough buying power to be able to get into like mid cap.
Yeah.
But with your platform, when it does pop up on my scanners now, I try to attempt it, but I actually it's just penny stocks. So it's been actually like a learning curve for me to enter in those mid cap stocks actually.
Got it. And what is it that you're looking for? Because like you said, you're only short selling. So what's the sauce here?
Yeah, so my criteria to execute a trade is pretty much I look for anything that kind of goes up 50%. So I short the gap ups. So anything that goes above around 50%, I'll go ahead and take a look at it. I'll take a look at the volume. Anything that has low flow, try to stay away from that. Dilution, I'll go ahead and look at the dilution of the company, see how much they have left with their cash, how much they're burning, how much they have left.
Nice. 39% success rate, 3.6 on the ratio part. So that's an amazing stat. And that's also great for the guys to see at home because, from time to time you would look for the holy grail and try to reach 90% of success rate, but you don't really have to do that because as long as you keep that proportion between the success rate and the ratio, the risk reward ratio, then you can find your balance there. And that's super great. Interesting question that I have, I guess, is this area right here, when you reach that $15 in profit, and then you had kind of a few days of a loss going all the way back to 10,000. Tell me a little bit about that. Do you remember what happened?
Yes. So actually, I believe I had just gotten my first payout And then going into the first day after payout, I remember actually hitting daily drawdown. And then
Yeah.
the next day, I also hit daily drawdown. And I think I just put a lot of pressure on myself to, okay, you know, next payout, I got to be positive again. I got to have a certain amount. And then that kind of put a lot of pressure on me. And then it just caused me to just be very emotional and be all over the place.
Hi. How long you been trading, by the way?
Yeah, so I started in 2021 paper trading. I did that for a year. And then I went into with capital, started off small, maybe I think like $3,000. Wasn't really making money, wasn't really losing money. Continued throughout the months into my that second year of learning to trade. And I just remember starting to lose, actually. I had to invest more money, I think up to another 3K. Ultimately had a 6K investment in my live account. And then starting end of 2023, beginning 2024, I think that's when I really started to see a lot of profit. And I would win, but the problem is I would lose one big trade. So win little, like win a lot and then lose all that all at once.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a classic one for everyone. That's amazing. How much was the first payout that you got?
This payout, I think, was roughly 5K, 5K
Nice.
after our split.
After the split,
After the split, yeah.
very nice. Alrighty, Sabrina. So first of all, thanks again for coming to this interview. I'm sure the guys that just listened to it got their nuances and at least also the confidence that they can do that. So if you guys in that evaluation stage are looking to get funded, go through that. Go to tradeapool.com and maybe you will be the next one to get interviewed. Alrighty, Sabrina. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Bye for now.
Bye.